Hello. So I had hoped that I would get this video started before it got dark. The sun is beginning to set, as you can see back there. It's just that our view from that side is really, really, really pretty. I mean, this view too. Anyways, so I was getting all these signs to look into the story of Ramayana and Sita, and so at first I started to like kind of look up the characters first. Like I've heard of Ram before when I was in Florida, like I told you in my previous video. Um, I'll put it above. So I was surrounded by a bunch of Krishna devotees at the time. So I would hear all kinds of stories and listen and look at artwork and things like that. And I was actually around someone who, you, when you're around a bunch of Krishna devotees, a lot of them actually, if they were not born into the culture, into the ISKCON community, when they do convert or take that path, I really don't know their term on it, but those are the terms I'll use. They'll take on a new name, and so I don't really know if this is what occurred with the guy that I knew. Uh, he he called himself Ram. You could call him Ram or Rama. And one of his guides, someone that he looked towards and prayed to, was Hanuman. So that's how I heard of Ram, Sita, and Hanuman. But I had never looked into it fully, like read it for myself or whatever. So I finally was like, you know what? I keep getting these hints about Ram and Hanuman. So let me just check this out. So at first, I looked into the characters online, just like reading briefly, like on Wikipedia or whatever. And I was like, this is interesting. Because plus, you can click more things and it takes you to more, and then you just end up in the rabbit hole, just going further, further, further in. So last night, I began reading the book online. I can provide that link as well above, or wait, I can't provide it above, but I'll provide it below because there's a free PDF version of it. Google partnered with a school or something to make it available for free. So I started reading it and I was like, first of all, it's online and my eyes have been kind of like feeling weird for maybe a week. And then just, I don't know, the language, I just wasn't, especially since it was late. I was like, man, I really don't feel like reading something where just the way it's written is just much different than I write or what I'm used to reading, and I don't really want to like exert my mind, like put in so much energy and then not be able to enjoy this. Because I started it pretty late at night. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to look for this on YouTube. So I can provide that link though. So I watched this animation. First I found a different animation and I started to watch it, and I guess it looks more modern, but it actually almost looks like you're playing a video game, and I didn't really like that. Like I couldn't really focus on the story. So then I found a different cartoon and watched it, and I really liked it, so I'll provide that one for you. So I watched it all the way through and really, really, really enjoyed it and contemplated on it afterwards and, went to sleep. And it's ironic because I edited and published the video before this one, or actually I don't know if I'm publishing this yet. So I published a video just yesterday called 12 a.m. Thoughts on my podcast, Sexual Abuse and Trauma, yada yada. It's got a really long title. I published that before I watched the epic Ramayana. So I published it, and then like sometime later in the evening decided I wanted to watch Ramayana. When I woke up today, I wrote one of my soul sisters and was sharing some feelings and stuff with her, and also about the video I had just published, because you know I'm really raw in this video and vulnerable and just being authentic and talking about some really hard topics, and sharing with her how recently, like a few days ago, it was during the weekend, I just had this really hard emotional time. It was kind of like an emotional breakdown. Like I just got really down, and she was sharing encouraging words and saying how she worded it away, where she said that, you know, that one thing about you is that you continue to fight the demons in a way, whereas others, if they were in your place, they would give up. Don't give up. Like, you continue to fight these demons every day. And I was like, whoa, she used the word demons. And if you know anything about the epic Ramayana, you know that that's like a huge part of this epic, this story. If you don't know, I'll just tell you. So, you know, I don't want to give you too much, because if you're interested, I want you to read it or watch it. But Ram, he has to join forces with other kind beings to go on a quest to find his beloved partner Sita, who has been kidnapped by the demon king, Ravana. And so during this story, you know, you're seeing how Ram and his brother and friends, including Hanuman, they have to fight off demons and this demon race. Like, it's the demon king and his people, his line of people, race of people that are inhabiting the island south of India, which I'm pretty sure is Sri Lanka, because in the epic it's called Lanka. And so when she said demons, I was like, wow. And then, you know, it was like a whole new way for me to look at the epic Ramayana. Because I think many people, when they read it or watch it, of course, are going to look at how the man and woman are portrayed in this epic. You have Ram, who is the masculine, and he's just a beautiful being, a beautiful man who's pretty balanced and harmonized and good. He's a very good soul. He's also an incarnation of Vishnu. So he's just got all these amazing qualities and great self-control and desire for goodness, righteousness, peace. And then you have his wife, Sita, who is portrayed as very beautiful, very kind, very giving, loyal, sweet, and also a divine being incarnated in human form. And I actually don't remember who she is. Finally, like, that's really funny, but oh well. So just like Ram is an incarnation of Vishnu, she's an incarnation of a form of the goddess. And so of course when you read or watch the story, it is almost like all those other fairy tales we watch, where you have the perfect man, the perfect woman. It's this romance fairy tale, and you could see it from that point if you want, where it's external. A man over here, a woman over here, and they love one another very much and have this beautiful romance, beautiful relationship. But when my friend mentioned to me how I continue to fight the demons, it reminded me of Ram and how he did not give up his search. He did not. He would not. And I actually don't know how long, at least in the animation, it didn't say how long the quest and then the war went on between him and his army and the Demon King and his army. Maybe, I'm sure in the epic, the actual book, it probably does say. So, I really don't know where I was going with that. But anywho, for me, once I stopped looking at it externally, the story, I realized, or to me, I was like, whoa, that reminds me of maybe the reason why I fight, I continue to speak up about trauma. I have my work, I have my dharma, I have my, excuse me, my missions. I feel like I have more than one, quite a few assignments, and I continue to focus on them as much as possible and fight for goodness, stand in truth, stand for truth, stand for the light, in light, and bring forth light, bring forth information, share love. I continue to choose this, just as Ram continued to choose this throughout all his circumstances that were thrown his way. And he was persistent in finding Sita, and he also depended on his spirituality, truth, the truths that were shared with him by a holy man. I forgot the name of him, but basically like a guru, a spiritual teacher that came to him and his brother and taught them many things about their gifts. He remembered mantras that he needed to use. He remembered how he should not be quick to anger, things like that, and used these tools to continue to find Sita and fight for her and try to fight for peace. Not even fight's not the right word. That doesn't sound right, right? Fighting and peace don't go together. But he aimed for peace. And when the Demon King refused, then of course he was forced to fight, to actually, engage in war and then fight again. He offered so many times for peace and was denied over and over. So it's like that part of me continues, that I am Ram, but I am also Sita. There's a part of me that continues to aim for these things, continues to look back upon spiritual truths, spiritual guidance, and aim for peace, aim for healing, aim for truth, and persistent on finding my Sita. And Sita to me is my innocence, my purity, basically, I guess, the feminine aspect of myself, and perhaps the part of me that was wounded. See, and it's not just me. You could watch this story yourself. You could read the story yourself and look within yourself and see where you could continue to fight for yourself, to fight for your divine feminine aspect, to fight for your purity, your innocence. If you are someone who was sexually traumatized, if you're someone who had your innocence taken from you, you know, that's huge. Whether you were a child, especially when you were a child, even if you weren't a child. But in these acts of extreme fear and hatred that were brought upon you, that you experienced, it's almost like an act of theft, of trying to take away someone's innocence, their purity. And those who have suffered, who have experienced any kind of sexual abuse, many of us do feel like some of our purity has been taken. Some people feel completely impure. They feel gross or feel like they're no longer innocent. Something that shouldn't, of course, something that shouldn't have been taken from you, something that you didn't even consent to, is just, you're robbed of it. But also, like, you feel shame, guilt, when it's like crazy. It's crazy, but you know, when you are a survivor of this, you do feel guilt and you do feel shame. You feel like embarrassed, anxious, all kinds of stuff. And so really, you don't have to. You really don't. Of course, many of us have gone through these motions, have felt them, especially if you get anywhere near someone and want to be intimate or start a relationship, whatever, right? Or if you're in a relationship and you have triggers, like stuff triggered to come up for healing, these emotions will come up. And, you know, a lot of the times it is the confused child within us, the part of us from that point in time when we were traumatized and completely confused. And I just gotta say that you don't have to feel that way anymore. Look within yourself to see where you can be your own protector, your own righteous protector and warrior of truth and light, your own knight in shining armor. You know, even if you're a man, right? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. See where you can look within yourself and find that part of you that can stand in your divine masculinity and protect and recover your divine femininity and your innocence, your complete innocence and purity. You know, like I said, many will see the epic as two beings, external beings, that come together and it's this beautiful romance. But I feel like one of the deeper meanings is also that these two beings, the god and the goddess, the masculine and the feminine, are within each and every one of us. We have both. We have both masculine and feminine energy. And like I've been speaking for a while and say that I'll be talking about it in the podcast is that it's time for us to bring these two within ourselves to balance these energies. And when you balance it within, it shows without. You know, like your demeanor is different, your aura is different, how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you use your energy, how you use your masculine and feminine energies, and sometimes even how you look will change. Oh, that's Wolfgang. He scared me. I've noticed that through these years, my appearance has changed a bit. When I was completely integrating and going through my divine feminine activations, I looked very, 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 very feminine. And then when I began integrating my masculine, harmonizing it with my feminine, there were days when I seemed more forward and or loud, or even when I made videos, it's a little different. And I even had someone who met me in Florida when we Skyped one day. She was like, "You seem really different. Like, I was kind of wondering if you're the same Trina that I met." And I'm like, "I'm the same person. I am the same soul. It's just I am harmonizing my masculine and feminine." When I was in Florida, I was like completely super feminine, but definitely beginning to harmonize my masculine. So I was like beginning to really understand my fire and bring that into balance. And then the past 2 years, it's like me really trying to harmonize the masculine and clearing the masculine, healing the masculine and stuff, and harmonizing it. So anywho, maybe you'll notice that within your life, your lives, and I don't know, I wanted to share that. Like, it was so random, and I was actually going to make a journal entry. I'm still going to make a journal entry, but I thought I would record it in case I did want to publish it and share it. That I think it's a wonderful story to read or watch, and then just reflect on your life yourself, and how you can continue to fight for truth, for the light, and how you can stand in your divine femininity, how you can rescue yourself, how you can rescue your feminine, how you can empower your feminine, how you can tap back into your purity. You know, no matter what others may say or think, or what you may think deep down when you judge yourself, there is purity there and light. And you have to remember that. I'll leave you with that. Thank you for watching, and I know it'll call out to those that it resonates with. May you have a good night or day. Namaste. Mitakoe oyasin. Oroha nui.